in this last eddy, it was my last wave.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 minutes to go, and I was been waiting for a big set, and 3 minutes to go. I'm like, no, I'm just going to paddle in. I paddled right in. It was too deep, and it was got this weird wobble backwash or something, and I stood up a little bit too early, and I just jumped off, and all of a sudden the board hit my back, so it broke on my back.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hurt that much, but then, and I felt this rag. It felt like a rag hanging off my left hand. I was like, "What's that?" And then I looked at my fingers, and the index and the pointer, and actually 3 of them were nearly hanging off, and just blood everywhere. And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then the Hawaiian Border Patrol came in to get me with my left hand. I couldn't grasp it. I was like, mate. So then I got sucked underwater with the turbulence, and then came back up and hit my head on the jet ski.
Are you ready, boys? Start swimming.
That's Ross Clarke Jones. I'm Jamie Brissack, and this is Soundings, brought to you by the Surfer's Journal. The Journal is a member-supported publication made possible by a sponsorship from Costa Sunglasses, FCS, Finisterre, Howler Brothers, Patagonia, Rainbow Sandals, Vans, and Yeti. More like a book than a magazine, the Journal delivers 136 pages of independent storytelling every 8 weeks, covering the people, culture, travel, and art of surfing. To learn more and to subscribe, please visit surfersjournal.com. Hailing from the central coast of New South Wales, Australia, Ross Clarke Jones joined the ASP World Tour in 1986 at age 19. He and I were fellow rookies. Swarthy, long-haired, a slashing regular foot, Ross had a wild quality about him, as if he'd been abducted by a pack of wolves as a toddler and had only recently been returned back to the world. He was good in the small waves that we typically competed in at that time. But when the surf jacked up to 20-plus feet in the 1986 Billabong Pro at Waimea Bay, we saw what he was truly made of. Ross heaved himself over impossible ledges as if he'd been doing it his entire life. It was a spectacular performance. I never looked at him quite the same after that. Ross exited the water as one of the world's great big wave surfers and has held that position ever since. He's been a major force in nearly every eddy, winning that coveted event in 2001. He's paddled giant jaws, towed gargantuan Mavericks, Nazare, and Shipstern Bluff, and pioneered several mutant way-out-to-sea slabs. He was the subject of the 2006 documentary titled The Sixth Element, The Ross Clarke Jones Story, narrated by the late Dennis Hopper. He and his frothing pal Tom Carroll starred in Storm Riders, a big wave surfing reality show on the Discovery Channel, which led to Storm Riders 3D, a feature-length documentary. In 2012, Ross was inducted to the Australian Surfing Hall of Fame. Ross, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm ready to go. Surf's pumping here in Phillip Island. In about an hour, it's going to be really good.
I like hearing that, Ross. So, we've known each other for a lot of years, I think. We were both rookies on the tour in 1986. Yes. I remember us being on the tour all year, and you always had a feral look in your eye, but I didn't really know what that meant until the 1986 Billabong Pro that started at Sunset Beach and moved to Waimea Bay. What do you remember about this?
I remember it well. It was my first actual contest as a professional. Sanger and I, Mark Sainsbury and I, came fresh from the world titles, in Cornwall.
Yep.
And we went to Hawaii together, and it was, Sunset Beach. That was the first heat. Bill Celia made me some boards, Nirvana surfboards. We got through the first heat, like scraping through the first heat. Just didn't know what we were doing, but we got through. And then And then I eventually, it was like I got through a couple of heats. I can't remember how many, and then it was moved to Waimea Bay, and everyone's freaking out, going, "Wow, it's at the bay now." And I'm like, "What? What board are we going to use?" And that was the like turning point in my length of surfboard, because I'd only ridden a 6'8", maybe a 7'2" at that stage. It was the longest board I've ever ridden. The guys are trying to give me 10-footers, 9-footers. I'm going, man, that's too long. And I eventually got a 7'10" shaped by Dennis Pang from Kingsley Looker. It was his board. And then Stuart Bedford Brown gave it to me. He goes, mate, just try this. So the 7'10", I'm going, that's sweet. That looks big enough. And I went out there with Mark Richards, Almir Zalazar, and Robbie Bain. And it was the most perfect Waimea. I've never seen Waimea at that stage. I'm going, wow, this is pretty good. Looks like Terrigal Haven or something. It's a place where I grew up, but just quite a few feet bigger. And I was oblivious to the fact. I was like 20 years old, 19, 20, and I was like, not scared of anything. I'm like, I just wanted to get through the heat. I'm so happy to be a professional. I'm included in this event. And with Mark Richards and Robbie Baines, Alazar, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to just follow Mark. Mark Richards knows what he's doing. So I was just following him around the lineup, and little to my knowledge, after the first couple of waves, there was a closeout set, and I was just paddling over it. I didn't realise it was a closeout set, and Robbie Bain and Almir Zalazar were just getting punished in the shore break and nearly drowning, apparently. I remember Derek Donor, like that was the security back then. There was no jet skis. Actually, that's Squiddy Sanchez, but on his stand-up thing, but that wasn't a security. He was just out there buzzing around. And I remember dropping in on Derek Donor, going, what the hell? What are you doing? This is the heat, right?
Yep.
And he's like, no, go. He's telling me to go. And he goes, but he was the lifeguard. And he went to go and say, I don't know how they do it. I mean, Derek Donor was a beast of a lifeguard, like to paddle around and try to save someone in the Waimea shore break. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And and then meanwhile, it was just Mark Richards and I in the lineup together with perfect 25-foot Waimea, not a drop of water out of place. And I don't think I've seen it again like that. To ride a 7'10" out there, I couldn't do it now. No way. I couldn't get on that thing, But, yeah.
I remember I watched it, and, you and I were friends. We were fellow Quicksilver team riders and staying together sometimes. And what I remember most of all, though, is that, and what I learned from it really was you didn't seem to overthink it. Like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like you just grabbed a board and just ran there are a lot of big wave surfers who are very calculated and who time sets, especially at Waimea, getting through the shore break, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, it looked like you just went for it and everything kind of worked for you.
Yes. And that's how I've always taken big wave surfing. Just seeing someone out, or if I see someone out, or like, and especially in the vent, the eddies and all that, I mean, they're all, you've got water safety now and all this safetiness, really. For me, that's enough to rely on my own lungs, and I just get so excited that it overrides any fear, I guess. That people instill themselves. The thing is, I don't look at it. I don't look at the conditions, and I mean, it's probably foolish, but that's how I operate. And there was a thing with Tom Carroll and myself. We did with a Storm Surfers series.
Yep, I remember.
and they was a psychologist or something doing a diving board, a high diving board, and calculating our brain waves or heart rates and all this stuff. So Tom went and he's all calculated, and and he's looking at the bubbles, and it's like a 40, 50 foot jump, and he calculates it, and looks at the edge and just leaps up and did a perfect pin drop, right? So me, and then they took it to me. My heart rate was up, and I just ran and jumped, didn't even look, and missed all the bubbles, and went flat on my back. And I mean, I was hurting for 3 months after that. My ass was fucked, but I mean, that's how I've always taken it. I mean, that's the relevance, I guess.
No,
I just don't look before you leap.
Yes, and I see that, and I remember writing a profile of you for the Surface Journal. In fact, probably 2010, 2011. It was a while ago. And I remember at the time you were telling me that you bought a Porsche and you kept it in Germany, and you would fly in the right time of year when the roads were, driest, I guess, and you would drive the Autobahn at high speeds. And I remember thinking, this is Ross's version of training.
Well, it is. I mean, I guess big wave surfing is almost 99%, no, maybe 90% mental. You got to have physical. You got to have to get on the wave, etc. But it's really a mind game. Mm-hmm. The mental side is so much come more into it, I think. So more about the racing, the Porsches. I went to, I can't remember, it was 2000 or whatever, 2010 maybe. Went to France and with Pierre, and they said, mate, you're going to live here for 3 months. I said, well, maybe I can get a really good car, a fast car. And I went to France and went to Germany. I met a guy called Duffy that was working with Quicksilver, and he was really into Porsches and knew everything about them. I said, can we get one? And I went to Munich and just bought this butchered, modified beast of a thing. It was a 993 turbo. That looked like a GT2 wannabe thing, but it was 600 horsepower, and you flicked a switch, and so I just used to go to the Autobahn and trying to pick the weather, and there were icy roads, and you have to wait till the right temperature on the road. And I mean, I used to do that for 4 or 5 years, and then I progressed and got a real GT2 and that was another level. I went to the Nürburgring, which is an ex-F1 track. And then, so that was my routine. That was actually my training. And it was the best fun I've ever had. I wish I still had that car, but it's unfortunately so expensive to run a Porsche and around that track, 28 euro per lap, and then the tires and the petrol, and you just go. I mean, you don't care in the end. Mm-hmm. It's like an addiction, I guess. You just don't care. It was the best thing I could do for big wave surfing. I felt.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about that, and I thought it was an interesting one because it was not. It was kind of the other side of the spectrum from the. Running with stones underwater or weight training or cardio training or what have you. It was really, it seemed like it, and you said this earlier, but really just focused right in on what it's about, which is fear. And so if you can sort of manage fear, as long as your fitness is relatively solid, that you've got that part covered.
Yeah. I mean, you're sitting down in the car. I mean, you still need fit. I mean, it's extremely, strenuous on the body, the neck, and the arms. I mean, trying to change gears rapidly, using your whole body. I mean, F1 drivers must be really fit, I guess. But that like the lines on the track, drawing lines on the track, hitting the apex. I mean, it's similar to a surfing line, but the track's moving.
Mm-hmm. Have you always been that way? I mean, were you like as a kid? Were you an adrenaline junkie from the get go?
Well, I drove a car illegally at 13 years old to high school. Yeah, Bill Cillier gave me a car for $100 or something. I used to drive. My brother used to teach me how to rally drive, and before I had my license, used to go sideways down Terrigal. You remember? You came to my parents' house.
Yes, I remember it. Yeah.
Remember it? And he used to go down the dirt road and almost hit the trees, and yeah.
And
But
did you? But growing up on the Central Coast, I know you and I've surfed the Terrigal Haven with you, which is a heavy wave and kind of close to the rocks and sort of sucking up.
yeah.
But did you? I guess when you were a grommet, did you feel real comfortable in waves that your friends were scared shitless of?
No, absolutely. I was like 11, 12 years old. Surfing in Terrigal Beach. My mother used to watch me, and I swore I'd never go out the back. With she couldn't see that far, so I used to paddle out. At 12, 13 years old, out to Terrigal Haven, which is about 300 meters, 400 meters out the back under the point. Yeah, and then I realised I was so comfortable and so excited about these waves. It's probably only 8 feet back then, or 10 feet, which it felt like 30 feet when you're a 12-year-old or 13-year-old. And I remember my older friends were all scared, and I just really fed off that fear, I guess. I don't know. I just was really comfortable.
Yeah. So that 1986 Billabong Pro, from what I could see, it was kind of the beginning of a great relationship with Hawaii. Can we talk about the North Shore and your relationship with Hawaii?
Oh, my North Shore's been my second home for like 40 something or 40 years. I've been used to spend almost from 6 months to 3 months every year since 1986. I had that hiatus when I broke my ankle on Survivor in 2019. But other than that, I'd been there every year, and it's just, I felt, the whole, Mickey Nelson and Marvin Foster took me in straight away with Quicksilver, and, they really supported me and looked after me. And I felt at ease, where, it's pretty on edge, the whole North Shore. People really fear the locals. Back then it was pretty gnarly. But I felt comfortable because I had the right crew with me, and Eddie Rothman, and they all looked after me, and I felt comfortable.
Was there a high point? I know you won the Eddie in 2001. Was there like a high point of all your years in Hawaii so far?
You know what? Every year's a high point. The 2001 for sure, there was a high point, but I didn't even. It was so euphoric that I actually won. It took weeks later to realise. But and I wasn't even on the North Shore when I actually realised I'd won. It was so weird. I was in a casino in Sydney, and with a couple of mates, I broke down. I'm going, I actually did win, didn't I?
Why was that? Did they tally the scores after the event finished or something?
No. It was just I was such in a dreamscape. I guess
see.
It was, for many years of trying to win it, and you couldn't believe I won it. And I was actually partying after that as well. It didn't help. But I was just, the realisation came probably a month later when I saw my mates in Australia, and they really bring it home, going, mate, you won. And I was like, wow, I think I did, didn't I? It wasn't a dream so much. But, you're saying a high point, that this 2023 Eddie with no sponsors, and remember that one? It was the biggest one I've ever seen, the most cleanest Waimea I've ever seen. That was the biggest Eddie for sure. Last one was big too, but the other one was a little bit bigger, I think. So that was, for me, that was a high point. I only got 10th or something, but because after coming, being away from Hawaii with a broken ankle and, 3 years of not being in the lineup, I was sort of doubting myself. I could even do it again, and then I was getting smashed by 30-foot closeouts, and I was just like, wow, that was a high point, which it sounds funny, but I think it was, that I could do it again, and I was actually comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the happiest times of my life. I was pretty down that I couldn't surf for a while. I suffered depression from that for sure, situational. I do what I've loved for so long and just got stopped, dead stop. Had to be at home, sit on the couch. That's not me,
Yep.
But yeah, it's like once I came back, my son was there, my mate from Stu from Phillip Island, and it was the best feeling in the world. So that was probably the highest highlight of my life. I think 23.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then I got second in 2016 to John. That's another. Every Eddie's a high point. Every Eddie.
Yep. What did it feel like to win the Eddie in 2001?
That's what I mean. I didn't feel it because it was just like a dream. I was in disbelief that I could actually win that thing because I felt I could win it and I knew how to ride the waves and from the first time in 1987 I got invited and I went to Vegas and did a foolish thing and went out all night and then came back to Hawaii and got 7th. Mm-hmm. I thought, wow, if I got 7th doing what I did, I reckon I could take this thing out, I felt I was half Hawaiian,
mm-hmm.
or accepted by the Hawaiians and that's the highest honor for surfing for me, is to be accepted from the Hawaiians.
Yeah. Yeah. What about wipeouts? What about injuries? What's been like obviously, you've pushed hard. I'm thinking of a particular clip I saw some years back of you getting just hammered on the rocks at Nazare.
Yeah, when you say that, that wasn't that bad. It looked really bad, looked dramatic. It was a smaller Nazare, and you get complacent with the right hander, and I didn't really care. I didn't even do my airlift correctly. I didn't do the buckle up,
mm-hmm.
And I actually didn't pull the what do you call it, the chute, to release the airbag until it was really too low. I was fine. I thought, I'm fine, but I got started transported for about 400 meters underwater so quickly. By the time I put the chute up, the airbag, I was on the rocks. I was going, what? How did I get here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was down the beach. I don't know how I even got there because when it's smaller, the water runs out towards the rocks and and goes that way. And that's the only point it can. When it's bigger, it sort of washes away from it. But then I was like I couldn't get in. I was getting smashed against the rocks with this airbag, and I used it for cushioning, and then went over the top. Didn't hit my head or anything, and then I was behind the rocks, and then I could feel a set coming, and just hiding behind the rocks and you support yourself in there, but then the airbag lifted me back up when the water filled up. So I went back out, and it was like 15 minutes of pinballing through the rocks. But I didn't get hurt. I had heaps of rubber on, but the strangest thing is once I got up, I was climbing up this grassy cliff and sliding down. Like, that was the most terrifying thing ever. I'm not much of a rock climber, but and that was like, I'm almost at the top and I could feel just sliding down the thing. That was more terrifying than anything. And once I got to the top, I was so relieved. I'm like, that's it for my season. And the ironic thing is, I didn't even pull a chute the whole season. I got some biggest waves of my life. And then that happened. And then everyone knows me for that. It's like pretty funny.
And what's your relationship like with Nazare?
Yeah, I mean, I have a good relationship with Lino Bugalio. He was the guy that helped me and looks after my jet skis, and he's the main guy on the ground. And I almost bought a place over there. I was thinking of living there, but like I've had 5 years since I've been there, since 2018 or even more. 2019 it was the last time I went.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to got a lot more crowded, and there's a lot of jet skis now, and there's a lot of people paddling, and it looks like when Jaws got too much, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when the whole ski scene, you know, everyone, and it's just all sorts of vehicles, and everyone's foiling it, and I mean it's kind of a bit of a circus now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to go back to, you know, like back with only a couple of skis out, you know, the really big days. I'm not sure if they're packed on the big days, but yeah, I'd really like to go and visit maybe Lino again and hang out there for, you know, maybe a big couple of swells.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just got back to the roots of Hawaii, which feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really enjoyed these last few years back in Hawaii. It's nowhere else like it. It's this rock in the middle of the ocean that gets pounded by these waves, and it is the energy transports through the whole island, through the people, the buzz around the island when the swell's coming. There's nowhere else like it that I've found. It's when it's mellow. It's mellow. It's all the luau and all this. It's just such a, that music. I don't know. It just really resonates through the aloha spirit. I mean, but then when the swells come marching in, it's like a war zone. But I mean, I've never been in a war zone, but I can imagine it's like helicopters coming and the sirens, and it's just the energy of that place. It's the perfect contrast. Go from mellow to just extreme in a couple of days, that's how I like to live.
Yes. What's been the heaviest experience you've had in Hawaii?
Oh yeah, just flashing through 40 odd years of heavy experiences, but I think one of the most dangerous and I felt life threatening was when I was at sunset and I was paddling for a wave, and this guy just jumped off his board, and it speared me in the rib cage, and I couldn't breathe. It was broke my ribs, and it was suspected busted spleen and all this stuff. I'm like, I couldn't get a breath in or out. And then Derek Donor paddled out. I don't know where he came from, and I'm so grateful for him. And he put me on the front of his paddleboard like a dog, And we couldn't get in because it was a west swell, and he paddled me right round to backyards, round to Phantoms, back in, and all the time I'm like couldn't get a shallow breathing, and I really that was one of the heaviest experiences. I mean, it was a long trip too,
Wow.
Yeah, and that's he was, he really took charge. I mean, man, that was heavy. And then I went to the ambulance, and they, that's one of them. And then the other one was at Backdoor. I broke my back. That was a trip when I got knocked unconscious at Backdoor with Johnny Boy, and I just tried to avoid Johnny Boy, and I got sucked up over the lip and just went on dry reef on my ass,
Oh,
so
man.
I got compression fractures in my spine that rendered me I couldn't walk. I mean, I didn't think lost my feeling in my legs for a couple of minutes until, the lifeguards came down. It was Kelly and Mitch Thorson, actually, that came down first. I looked at them and I was like, what the hell's happening? I didn't realize it was like a dream too. I was like, hang on. I thought I was just surfing a minute ago. Apparently I was underwater for a minute or something and getting dragged across the bottom. And I didn't take in water, which is nice. But I mean, pipeline's heavy. Like that's probably the most. Isn't it the heaviest wave in the world? The most fatalities.
Yes, it is. I think
I would say.
statistically it is. Yeah.
But they're the heaviest ones. I mean, even this eddy, like now, I can only cut my fingers off. In this last eddy, it was my last wave. I had 3 minutes to go, and I was been waiting for a big set, and I was 3 minutes to go. I'm like, no, I'm just going to paddle in. I paddled right in. It was too deep, and it was got this weird wobble backwash or something, and I stood up a little bit too early, and I just jumped off, and all of a sudden the board hit my back, so it broke on my back. It didn't hurt that much, but then. And I felt this rag. It felt like a rag hanging off my left hand. I was like, "What's that?" And then I looked at my fingers, and the index and the pointer, and actually 3 of them were nearly hanging off, and just blood everywhere. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then the Hawaiian Border Patrol came in to get me with my left hand. I couldn't grasp it. I was like, "Mate!" So then I got sucked underwater with the turbulence, and then came back up and hit my head on the jet ski.
Oh, jeez.
And oh man, it was terrifying. I'm not terrifying. I was like, it was like a comedy of errors. I'm like, oh my god, we've slashed the hand. I wasn't feeling danger because I felt safe with the border patrol there. And then I eventually got on the back of the sled with half a surfboard. And they were trying to run away from a 30-foot closeout with me acting like an anchor. So, with the half a board, and they were slowing them down, and we were going to get eaten. So I jumped off and wore a couple of sets on the head, and then they come back, and then they drove me straight up to the beach, almost to the lifeguard tower. And then the beautiful doctor, the Eddie O'Cow doctor, Seren, she sewed me up on the beach. I mean that's another experience.
And what was it? Did your fins do it, or was it what cut your fingers?
No, sorry, it was. I thought it was my fins, but it wasn't. It was the broken fiberglass was acting like full blade. Yeah, and they could have cut my throat. I couldn't do it. Could have cut anywhere,
Jeez.
It was so quick, and I didn't even feel it. And it was bizarre.
Wow.
Because it was and it was a little bit of fiberglass in my hand, so it was a perfect cut, slice, like surgical slice,
I guess my question would be in the case of like these wipeouts you've described, do you feel like they slow you down? Do they leave you kind of thinking about the danger factor, or you just bounce right back and you're straight at it?
No, not at all. I mean, it feels like if I can do that, I can do anything. You know what I mean? I could go push it harder.
Wow.
I mean, like I didn't die. I didn't get, it didn't really. I mean, it affected my hand. I mean. And it still affects my hand a bit, but I can still paddle and do what I want. I've lost the feeling in my finger a bit, but that's. I mean, I'm not a pianist, so you just need to paddle.
Yeah.
And I can ride the jet ski without enough grip, and so I don't feel like if you can bounce back from that stuff. I mean, if you broke your leg or I don't know. I've never broken a bone, so to speak. I mean, I've had compression fractures in my spine and stuff, but no, I didn't actually clean break. I mean, maybe that. I mean, Tom Carroll and Titus Kinnimarka did that at Waimea. They broke their legs. So,
what does scare you? If given how fearless you've been in big wave surfing and a lot of kind of more, adrenaline charged sort of facets of life, is there parts of life that do scare you?
It scares me not being able to do what I want to do. That's what scares me. Like, it did scare me when I couldn't surf and I thought I was done. I couldn't think and that it scares me that I'll get scared. You know, I don't want to because I really enjoy big wave riding, but you know, that scares me in itself. Like I remember we did that documentary with Tom Storm Servers, and he was I was 45 and he was 50, and the fear was creeping up with him, and he was fearless. I thought so. You know, I used to see him just swing around at pipe and all these waves. That just I'm going Jesus, you know. And then it crept into him that he's like, no, I'm pulling back. He's pulling back. And I remember Derek Donor telling me when we were in Tahoe the same. He's going, man, it scares me now. And I started going, what? Is this going to happen when I get that age? But I'm almost 60 now. I'm 59 this year, and I'm like, nah, I'm still going. I feel so comfortable, especially at Waimea. I mean, I'd like to paddle Jaws too, but I just can't be bothered with all the crowd and getting off the rocks. I want to do it like Kai Lenny does it. I want to go on his boat, and he's got all these boards and all this shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, it scares me that I don't want to surf it anymore. I mean, that's kind of scares me.
And do you do any kind of training when you're home?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, like I've been working actually with a friend with construction, with renovating bathrooms. I find that really fun, like walking tiles up, and rather just doing. I mean, I do weights and I have a gym in the backyard, and you know, and boxing, a little cardio. But I think it gets a bit boring. I mean, when I work with, and it's like I love ripping shit apart, destroying it, and then creating something beautiful. And that's been a really good, I mean, fitness thing. I mean, your mind and your fitness, like walking tiles upstairs and just always active. But you know, the boxing's really good. Been for cardio and stuff, but yeah, I've been finding that I've been really enjoying working with my mate on the off seasons. You know, like during when there's no waves.
Yes, yeah. What about just sort of smaller waves? Are you like, if you're surfing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've got a Morris, maybe a couple of bigger boards, and then another guy maybe a 6'4" twin fin. I've been riding that, and I went to I went to actually a wave pool the other day. It was the first time I've ever been. I was like, I can't do this, but I actually enjoyed it. Yeah, and I rode 2-foot lefts yesterday, and it was so fun. I actually surfed for 5 hours yesterday.
Wow! So you still have the buzz for smaller waves too?
Oh, definitely. I mean, anyways, really. I mean, like I need to ride a wave. I'd be the ocean, next to the ocean somehow. Even if I catch one wave, that's enough, you know. That's why I said to Damien Cole yesterday. Let's not set the bar too high. Let's just go and get one, and then it was perfect yesterday, right out the front. Close to my house. It was this perfect left-hander, which is going off right now, and I'm going to go there after this.
Nice.
This talk, you know, and it's I do really get excited still.
Yeah. And do you feel like all the kind of big wave experiences you've had, has it kind of like changed your nervous system in any way?
Yeah, I think it's not just a big wave experience. I think it's all those experiences I've had with, you know, my brother, and, you know, he was full on, you know, when he was driving, and like he taught me to drive and stuff, but he was living under his big brother deal. He was, you know, the fighting, and I mean, I was never a fighter, and I mean, he was a fighter, and he was full on, and he still is. But he taught me to, I guess, calm my nervous system. My nervous system was shot after him. But yeah, I mean, like this year, I've never felt more comfortable in Waimea or in Hawaii than ever. yeah, I sort of just being happy with where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not. It used to be like, I mean, you probably know me years ago that I just was never satisfied. I wanted to be here, there. I wanted to surf every wave all the time, and the grass was always greener over there, and just got to get there quick and. But yeah, I'll slow down a bit in that respect, and enjoying the the place I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
and like the old saying, "Smelling the roses." I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I'm smelling the roses now.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you, so what would be a typical day like for you at home?
Yeah. So okay. So I wake up. Go and check the surf. Walk my dog George. Um, it's a big groodle. I've never had a dog, but it's now a hell of a dog. And go and check the surf. Either go and run back and go for a surf, or do a bit of training, a bit of boxing. Got an infrared sauna, like a single one. Get a bit of a sweat going. If we're working or not, we start at 8 o'clock, and if the surf's no good, we start. Or I developed the brand that I've started was called Born Maniac. Developing a range of wetsuits and board shorts and hoodies and t-shirts and other rashies and stuff. With a man called Aidan Clark, which he's an ex 2XU owner, the athletic brand, and he's got a motorbike brand called Saint, and he's developed a brand with me, and we talk every couple of weeks and check in, and then answer emails and stuff. I mean, it's every day's pretty different for me, which I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I work every day for a week, I'm over it. I can't do every day, and I've been fortunate enough not to have to work every day for my whole life.
Yeah.
So grateful for that. And I've never had a routine, so to speak. My routine changed. Like now, I'm going to probably Monday. I'm going to drive down about 5 hours to go, and there's a big swell Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And go toe surfing with a friend. So this week's going to be completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and then I've been called up to. I'm going to go to Italy for a film festival, or it's a surf festival. Guy wants me to go over there. A Lido Wave, it's called. And then I've been offered an acting part in a horror movie, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, I was like, I'm really into that.
I can see it.
I hope it comes off. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, you're going to play an acting part in a horror movie. So that's something to really look forward to if it comes off.
Very nice. What about you?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about? I know you were on Survivor, and I know you had a serious injury while being on the show.
Yeah.
So what was that?
I mean, you can look it up on. Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube, and it's like the actual. The point that it happened. I went for 28 days straight. I went, the Survivor experience was amazing. Like it's a once in a lifetime thing. That, I mean, it was so strange. I can't talk a lot about it behind the scenes, but it's like the confidentiality thing. But it was so weird being out there, and you get rice and beans. That's all you get. Then you have to win food. I actually kept winning help winning the food, like the rewards instead of the elimination thing. But it was just so weird that the format, people talking behind your back and shit. I go, what the fuck is this? But, you know what I mean? I actually, truthfully, never watched much of it. The reality shows, and I was telling everyone I've watched every episode since its concept, so I knew what I was doing.
That's how the entertainment industry works.
Yeah. But Oh no, it was a good. But anyway, 28 days in, it was a rope challenge. You just have to, go from one platform to another. And unfortunately, the rope broke. Like after there was one person went, second person went, I went to the third person, and it just actually unraveled. And then I hit the platform, and my ankle causes syndesmosis, which is the ligament that holds the tibia and fibula in the ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just debilitating it went on for years, really.
Oh, man.
And I lost Red Bull and Quicksilver, and I couldn't surf, and it was a nightmare. It was one of the worst periods of my life. Going from such a high, I was on such a roll before Survivor, it was movie deals, and there's all sorts of stuff happening. And then it just all went to shit. But in the end, that's what happens, and I've taken a new direction, which is it's good. So you can't. I mean, there's no regrets.
What the time that you were kind of couch bound or what have you, like unable to do all the things that you do that define you, really? What was it? What was that like? What did you learn? What kind of did you take away from all that?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot, actually. I mean, it's like, because I'm all or nothing, I was like, fuck it. If I can't do everything, I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of probably the worst thing to do. I mean, you can train other parts of your body, like other athletes do when they get a bad, an injury to your foot or ankle, leg or something. They train the upper body. I just went, nah, I'm not doing anything, and just I put on a lot of weight. I was just a fucking mess, and it was horrible.
Wow.
But then, to get back, I thought I'm never going to get back, and I was fortunately to meet a psychologist that said, look, you need help. And I said, nah, I don't need help. I don't need anyone. But I was actually instructed to get it. And it was really interesting the way she, and I just said, look, I fucking used to do this. I used to do that. And now I lost my Porsche. I lost everything, And they're like, you know what? You haven't lost anything. They're all memories that you have and still have. And you just close your eyes and you're back there,
Mm-hmm.
And just think, go and get a better Porsche. You're going to get a faster Porsche, you know what I mean? And it's all in the mind. She was right. And I said, look, I can't even go down the serve. I don't even look at it. I mean, he goes, look, what do you want to do? I go, look, I just want to go straight back into toe surfing because you can't. So, yeah, the thing was the baby steps to get back, which was really important. She goes, look, just go down the beach. Don't take your board. Go down where there's no one there if you're worried about anyone seeing you. So I did that. And then I started to go with my surfboard and just go down the beach. And then just got one wave and then it just stemmed up from there. And then I was, it escalated it really quickly that you could come back. And then, at the time I spoke about that 23 Eddie, when I got smashed in the first wave, I got a really big wave the first heat, and I was like, yeah, I'm back. And that was, that's like, you can come back. You can always come back, and it's never that bad. And it was a dark period when John Shamuka he left us,
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And that was so sad. It was at the same time as I was going through it. I mean, I'd never thought that way. I've never been suicidal. I mean, why? I had such a good life. But, I mean, I learned from that period that there's nothing ever that bad to take your own life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and you've only got fucking how many years anyway? 80 years max, probably. Like 80, who lives for 100 these days? But who wants to be 100? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's life's too short to take it,
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah,
that period with John Schmucka and Sonny Garcia as well, and then Derek Ho died in
Yes.
that time. No, you and I are the same age and kind of experienced a lot of this stuff side by side. But I really started thinking about that, how kind of this really fortunate, privileged life that we've had traveling around surfing, how it can kind of just maroon you later on, if you don't, if you keep it going, and you seem to have done a really good job, but if it stops, that can be the trouble.
It's like, and it's even worse because I've had it so long, I've never been employed. I don't have superannuation, you know what I mean? It's like, and then all of a sudden it stops, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's daunting, but now it's like, I've come through it, and I'm very fortunate to go to work like other people. Like, I've never done that. It was a novelty, you know what I mean, for me. And I see people that don't like their jobs, and I'm like, I get it, because they've been doing the same shit for years,
Yeah. No, we've been really lucky, and the other side too is like we've been focusing on the kind of like, highly charged moments of being out in big surf. But the other one is just jumping on airplanes and being in multiple countries every year. And I know you spent a lot of time in Brazil and Hawaii. I think like that, the ability to kind of change the channels the way we have with the kind of traveling surf lifestyle is, you kind of transcend a lot of stuff,
It's changed, since COVID, right, as well, it changed a lot. When you had to stay at home, maybe not for you guys, but we got locked down, and I got kind of like, this is nice. This is a novelty to stay home.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Like I'm always on the go, and then I actually started to enjoy it, going, wow, I can get a dog, which I always wanted a dog, but how can you get a dog when you travel? But, and now I'd like to travel, but I'm actually like to come home now, because I never had a home. I was always on the go.
Yeah.
The home is where you saw me, really.
Yeah.
I had like Jan Jack for 18 years, but it was like just a base, really.
Sure.
I don't know. I think I'm grateful now to just to live my life, and what to expect, I don't know.
When you
It's
think
exciting, but
when you think back on it all, what stands out the most? Is it the waves? Is it the people? Is it the travel?
It's everything. Like the waves is one thing, but it's experiences with people. I think. Like in the end, it's like I'm out by myself, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like I surfed by myself yesterday, I'm going, but I'd rather surf with the next door neighbour, and like it was like, that was cool. But then I was by myself, I go, it's not the same. It's experience with people. Like in Brazil, I'm married in Brazil and raised 2 children. They're born in Brazil, but it's experiences with people. And like the Brazilians, like people didn't understand Brazilians going, oh, they're too aggro. And I go, mate, you live there and you understand it.
Yeah, for sure.
And Brazilians are amazing. The energy of those people, they're like the simple things. You've experienced it with the, just the meat and salt and a bit of fucking flour, and it's the best thing ever, and a cold beer.
Yeah,
and and the rituals of the barbecue and I was in love with that place, and I was in love with the people. When I was living in San Pedro in Guadalajara, was as a sub-Atlantic rainforest, which was so cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was
house.
Yeah, that was the best times of my life too. But just flashing back when you mentioned Brazil, I'm going, wow, it was a really good time in my life. But to answer the question, it's experiences with the people. The Hawaiians, the Brazilians, the Australians, and the Peruvians, like all the Germans, everyone, French. the people that we've met, Spanish, Basque, that's so important. And they're all so different, which makes up, I guess, what we are today. You and me, Jamie,
Yeah.
the people we've met.
No, I so agree. I was recently in the French Basque Country, and I saw Marichu, Daragran from Quicksilver, and Roxy, and I at this stage, I just sort of, whenever I see the people who were my sponsors back then, I thank them for the opportunities, because I guess what I was saying to Marichu is like how lucky we all got to go when we were in our late teens, early 20s, to land in the southwest of France. And to have this sort of built-in family, and to have like a place, dinners to go to every night, parties to go to most every night, and to get that sense of community. I don't even think we used that word back then. We didn't even think of it that way. It was just a given, but you really had these people, Yeah,
it was like Fernando said, the Quicksilver family.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
He's the one that really brought it home. You remember that
Fernando? Yes,
family?
and he did the he had the licensee for Brazil with Quicksilver. Yes, Fernando was fantastic. What a generous guy.
Yeah, and he was like he's died now, but he was the guy that really brought it home with Quicksilver. That Bob and Alan Green and everyone, like the whole Bob McKnight, Alan Green, like they started it, right? And I went to Alan Green's memorial a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like seeing all the other people going, you know what, the surfers really benefited by that lifestyle, and the people that brought Alan Green together. And it was, like you're saying, that was the best experience. I mean, we were so lucky.
Yes.
Being that Quicksilver thing,
No, so lucky. And also it just, I feel like it sort of, we got it at such a young age. And I think you and I are roughly the same age, and we were at it at the same time in 1986. And just, we were being shown a way to live in many ways. And I realize now how much it shaped my life, and how traveling is, that thing of kind of talking to everyone that we probably learned from some of the surfers or people in the surf community older than us, but just that when you travel, just being curious and asking a lot of questions, and how that just kind of one thing leads to the next, and you're never left alone, which is what you said earlier, which is just the best.
Yeah, I mean, like I've never gone. The best way is to travel. You do all these tours and stuff. I mean, I could never do that.
Yeah.
It's just the best way is to get a real local, to experience it with a local. And you just see a whole new side of that place.
Yeah.
That's how they really live, not all the tourist shit.
Yes, exactly. I think I've hit everything I've wanted to ask you about, but is there anything you want to talk about?
I just really grateful to, doing my own label, Born Maniac, and working with the crew, with my friends Stu, and then tow surfing and surfing big waves and the Eddie OK. I mean, that's a colourful life still for me.
That's exciting, Ross. Are your eyes on winning another Eddie?
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, and I these last couple, I mean, it's the worst I've ever done, but it's the most confident I've ever been, which is, I've been in the top 10 for the last 40 years, but I know how to win, and I know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, winning is getting invited. That's it. I mean, if I get an invite, it's a win for me.
Yep. I like this.
So yeah, and I'd love to win another one, because I want to be the first time to winner and actually live in the moment, going, wow, I could win it. I mean, realizing I won at the time.
Yes.
Like last time I was too euphoric, but this time I'll be, I've got a couple more in me for sure. As long as I get invited.
Yeah. Well, great, Ross.
Anyway.
Well, I really enjoyed the chat.
You too, Jamie, and let's connect later.
Soundings is brought to you by the Surfer's Journal and is produced by me, Jamie Brissick, and Jonathan Shiflett. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Our theme song is Give Me a Wave by Oscar Matumiya and Paz Lenchantin. The Surfer's Journal is a reader-supported publication, made possible by sponsorship from Costa Sunglasses, FCS, Finisterre, Howler Brothers, Patagonia, Rainbow Sandals, Vans, and Yeti. The journal is published bi-monthly. If you haven't done so yet, I encourage you to visit surfersjournal.com and subscribe. Thank you for listening to Soundings, and until next time.